You might want to sit down for this one. William Shakespeare might be the biggest scam in literature history. Let me explain. See, this man, your school taught you his books for years. Turns out he was not even real. And even if he was, assuming that there was someone with this name, he was not a writer, and he certainly did not write these books. And I have proof. And all the blame goes back to your high school English teacher, Miss Becky, who's been teaching you his books, allegedly, for years. Kids, let's study Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. Shush, Miss Becky. Stop peddling wrong information to kids, you idiot sandwich. So today, once and for all, I will prove it to you that this man right here is a fraud. And by the end of this video, you will agree with me too, or else. So let's begin our investigative journalism. But firstly, we will need to know the lore about this man. It's April 23rd, 1564. In a super secret location in England, called Stratford at these coordinates, lived a glove maker, John Shakespeare, and his wife is in labor right now. Oh dear, we already have 2 daughters. I want a son this time. I don't know, let's just hope. Behold, dear father, for thy offspring hath arrived. What did he say? What? Nothing. He's just born. He can't speak yet. But he just did. John, did you take your meds today? No. And hence, our beloved author, allegedly, is born. He is the 3rd child of the family. So you, my dear viewer, may think this family is complete now. John, his wife, and 3 kids. But you, my viewer, are wrong, as usual, because they had 5 more kids after that, bringing the total number of kids to 8. John, you hardworking man, son of a bitch. But having these many kids was fairly common back then, because not all children lived to see adulthood in medieval times. A disease as simple as cold could delete you. Achoo! Oh no! Mother! He's got the cold demon! He won't survive! Oh... Come on, Joe. Nothing's gonna happen. It's not like... Achoo! Oh, I see. But our little Willy boy was one of the lucky ones because his father sent him to school instead of putting him to work in the fields, unlike the other kids. Goo goo ga ga. Yes, my son, you can walk now. Oh yeah? Give him his shovel then and put him to work. He's old enough. Goo goo ga ga. But still, our Willy boy went to school. But the school he went to was the local school of his village. Not some fancy school where he could have learnt literature and writing. But still, a school nonetheless. Cut to 10 years later. Times have changed now. Big man John's glove making business is in a loss. And he is knee deep in debt. No one is buying gloves from pesky John anymore. People are going to the next shop to buy their gloves. I don't know why. Oh, I see. So, to help with the declining business of John, Willy boy had to drop out of school. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the entirety of William Shakespeare's education. A half-finished grammar school in a random village. That's it. Remember that. Remember that. It's an important piece of information. Or else... So, after joining the glove-making business with his father when our Willy boy turned 18, he decided, I am an adult now, so I shall do the second most favorite things of adults to do. That's right, I shall marry. You what? Son, you're just 18, uneducated, make gloves for living. Who in the world would marry you? Wow, Dad, that's so mean. But I have found a girl, Dad. Meet Annie. She is 26. But son, you are just 18. Good job, my son. You bagged yourself an older woman. Proud of you, son. Wow, thanks, Dad. But Willy boy, why are you in such a hurry to marry? Just 6 months later, they had a child. No further questions, please. So, it's been 3 years now since the marriage. Will has had 2 more kids, his wife is a hot MILF, and his glove-making business is booming again. Now you, my dear viewer, might think that now, at last, they will live happily forever. But you, my dear viewer, are wrong. Again, as usual, because one night in 1585... Oh, my dear wife, I shall go out to get some cow juice. Some cow? What? I meant some milk. I'll be back soon. Okay, honey, see you soon. Yeah, you wish. Yep, William just ran from his family for no apparent reason and no intention of ever coming back. And there is absolutely zero record of where William was, what was he doing during this time. Historians call this the lost years. So, William had just left his family in that village and just skedaddled somewhere. No one till this day knows where he went exactly. He could have gone to London and become a serial killer. Or he could have gone to a spiritual party arranged by a medieval rapper Diddy. Or he could have gone to Tinder and slid into DMs of my editor's mum. We will never know. Only either William knows or my editor's mum. But the thing we do know for a certain is that 7 years later, out of nowhere, a man with William Shakespeare name appeared in London. Is this our Willy boy? Or just someone else pretending to be our Willy boy? We don't know. Yet. And he started doing theatre acting. And the plays he was doing got very popular back then. But here's the problem. The stories of those plays depicted places like France or Italy, that too in great detail, as if written by someone who has been there. And these are the places where a poor glove maker can never afford to go. So if he hasn't been there, how is he writing about these places? And that too accurately, to the tiniest detail. The most common theory is someone else was writing those plays and giving them to William to perform in his theatre. Who was this someone else? We'll get back to this in a minute, with proofs, mind you. But for now, let's come back to London, where he did theatre for the next 25 years, and at the age of 52, he passed away. With zero publications. In fact, his first folio was published 7 years after his death, and it contained many plays that were never performed before. So the mystery is, how is Willy Boy writing new plays even 7 years after his death? Or is there someone else using his name to publish their own plays? Halt the video, I have a really important message to give. So this video is sponsored by me and my editor's mum. I don't have a sponsor. As many of you already know that we've been trying to mainstream these kind of videos for a long time now. So if you like this video, please click on that like button so more people could find this video, and smash that subscribe button just like I smashed my editor's mum. Anyways, back to the video. See, our Willy Boy died here in 1616, but some of his friends from his theatre days decided to compile all the plays that he used to do and publish them in his very first folio in 1623, 7 years after his death. So, this folio was originally supposed to be just a compilation of the plays that he used to do, but these friends very sneakily had injected 18 new plays in there. Plays that were never performed before, and plays that no one had ever heard the names of. And also, these new plays are not just some random plays, these are classics like Macbeth, Julius Caesar, Twelfth Night, and many more. So, if William is no more, who in the world is writing these brand new plays then? I shall investigate. Suspicious thing number 2. You see, when a writer is alive, he writes. That's kinda his job, duh. He writes things like letters to friends, rough drafts of their works, diary entries, something. But our Willy Boy did none of that. The only thing that survives from him are his signatures, 6 of them to be precise, and all of them are spelt differently. Shakespeare, Shakespeare, Shakes appear. What the f? Now you, my dear viewer, are trying to tell me a man who could not spell his own name correctly wrote the most complicated literature books ever? Yeah, you, my dear viewer, have gone mad. Anyways, suspicious thing number 3. You see, there is no record from him or his friends recalling that he ever went to France or Italy. He's a poor glove maker after all, he can't really afford all of that. So how has he described Italy and France in his books in such great detail, and that too very accurately, as if he was there? So if you know for a certain that he was not there, but the plays tell details of these places, can mean only one thing. The plays are written entirely by someone else. Someone who has actually traveled to Italy and France extensively. So who is this writer pretending to be our Willy Boy? And why isn't he using his own name, for God's sake? Who the f are these ghostwriters? So, there are mainly 2 people who could have written under Willy Boy's name. Let's have a look. Candidate 1, Francis Bacon. Now, this man, look at him. Look at his fancy collar. A fellow fashion enthusiast, I see. Anyway, this man was an aristocrat. He spoke multiple languages like a fancy writer. He had been educated at Cambridge like a fancy writer. He had traveled extensively through Europe like a fancy writer. But the problem is, Bacon is an aristocrat, a royal man, and in medieval times, things like singing and writing plays are reserved for peasants like us, and understandably so. Imagine if King Charles III started a YouTube channel tomorrow. Greetings, my fellow teenagers. On this fine and noble evening, we shall partake in and enjoy this game known as Minecraft. Yeah, it would seem very weird, right? People would laugh, right? Other royal people would make fun of him, right? So for these three same reasons, Bacon needed to hide his identity, and for that he needed someone to cover for his writings, and a cover he found in our Willy boy. He was already dead, and he was a theatre guy anyway. No one would care what he wrote. Bacon could write anything under his name, and that he did. And the people who proposed this theory, the Baconians. Yes, they have a name, and yes, that's weird as and yes, they have proofs why Bacon had written these works. Let's have a look at these proofs, shall we? Proof number 1. The
Northumberland manuscript.
Yeah, that. It is an original notebook of Francis Bacon people found in 1867, and in this he has written many plays. But the interesting thing is on the cover page here, which is like an index, and after some plays like Richard II and Richard III, he has crossed his own name and written William Shakespeare over it. Okay, pretty suspicious to me. Proof number 2. It is found in the private notebooks and letters of Bacon, where what he has written there, the examples and the references, sometimes appear word for word in Shakespeare's plays later on. Alright, he makes a strong contender. But before passing a judgment on him, let's have a look at the second candidate. Candidate number 2, Edward de Vere, the 17th Earl of Oxford. Now Edward de Vere is an earl, and you might be wondering, what the f*** is an earl? Let me help you.
An earl is a high-ranking British nobleman granted authority, land, and prestige by the crown. An earl.
Boring. Shut up, nerd. Earl is a rich nobleman. That's it. You can thank me for saving your time. So, our little earl, Edward de Vere. Let's look at him in detail. By 16, he had multiple degrees. What were you doing when you were 16 years old? Actually, don't answer that. This guy, by 16, had multiple degrees. He spoke French, Italian, and Latin. He had personally traveled through France and Italy, including Venice. Yes, the one from Merchant of Venice. He was also known in his lifetime as a poet and a playwright. People literally called him the best drama writer of his age. And then, in late 1580s, he stopped publishing completely, which happens to be exactly the same time when Shakespeare's plays started appearing. I'm not saying anything, I'm just saying, Suspicious thing number 2. There's this novel, Hamlet. It is a story about a prince whose father is murdered by his uncle, who then marries Hamlet's mother and takes over the kingdom. Happy days. And it so happens that Edward's father died when he was 12. His mother remarried almost immediately, and his inheritance was taken up by his new stepfather. In other words, exactly the same thing written in Hamlet. Coincidence? I think not. Hamlet looks like Edward's autobiography, and when he died in 1604, every single Shakespeare's play that came after 1604 describes events from before 1604, almost like someone wrote them all before 1604 and released them slowly over time. Suspicious. There are some other people too who could have written Shakespeare's plays, but we don't care about them. These are the two main culprits. So what do I think? I think the real Shakespeare was the friends we made along the way. No, okay. I think, and you can fight me in the comments on this, but don't, I warn ya. I think that William Shakespeare was a real person. I do think he was involved in the theatre world. I do think he was probably a collaborator, a fixer of some sort. He was like DJ Khaled of literature world. I reckon the most likely answer is somewhere in the middle, a collective. It was a network of writers who could not publish under their own names for one reason or other, started feeding scripts through a frontman who happens to have theatre connections as well. Ghostwriting, basically. Except the ghosts were real and usually from noble and rich families. And what I think is also a widely accepted theory as well. So, from now on, when one of your friends come up to you and say, Shakespeare was one of the greatest writers of all time, you look into his naive eyes and say, shut up you little Let me know in the comments if I have missed something. Or you can click here to watch my videos on Dostoevsky, Camus, Nietzsche, or whatever YouTube has picked for you. Bye!